Good evening, everyone. We will call this city workshop to order here at 5:01 p.m. Council is going to step back into executive session. I'll read this out and we'll head back in to discuss the three items. I believe, Mr. Hightower, you'll be joining us here for the first one. City Council is going to convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney to discuss the following: Brazoria County MUD 61 Utility and Development Agreement, legal issues dealing with the contractor for the Manvel Public Works facility, legal questions regarding SUP Ordinance 2025-0-07, and we will head back into executive session at 5:01 p.m. Thank you. We'll step back out of executive session at 6:02 p.m., having taken no action. And we will head directly into the regular session, and we will call it to order at 6:02 p.m. with 7 of 7 members present. We have a goal to be out of here at 7:50. That way we can all watch the Houston game. So we're excited for that. Go Cougs. So we will start with the invocation, and we have Pastor Ryan that is going to lead us in the invocation tonight. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. I appreciate the opportunity to pray. And I know you're talking as ministers, you're like, how long is he going to talk? I have till 7, what? I'm just joking in that. But I've watched many of the meetings, the PD&Z meetings, the MED meetings, and you guys as well. And one thing that I see over and over is this word that comes up, it's unity. And you might say, Ryan, you haven't been in the meetings and you haven't sat in the meetings, but I do see an element of unity. And most of the time, it doesn't mean that we all agree on things, but we're unified to make this the best city that we can. And sometimes we don't agree on things, kind of like pump the tension, right, Dan? But unity is something that is very important in leadership. And I want to read a scripture. It's in Ephesians 4, verse 2. It says, be completely humble, gentle, patient, bearing with one another love, making every effort, it says, to keep the unity of the Spirit. And we can apply that not only to the church that this is written to, but to us here between these 4 walls to keep the unity of Manvel. So I just want to say thank you for all that you guys do to help our city move forward in a positive, unified way. So let me pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the men and the women that serve our community. God, I thank you for the unity that we see. I pray that you would continue to guide them, direct them, give them wisdom to make right decisions for our community. I pray that you would bless them, bless their families, and bless our community. I pray that you would provide everything that we need to make this community safe and to make us proud of our town. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Ryan. Appreciate you. Pastor Ryan, what is the name of your church? Councilman David Lands was asking.
Bridge Church.
Bridge Church.
And CrossFit Manvel coach.
Yes, and a local business owner. All right. Next, we will move on to the inspirational reading from our Mayor Pro Tem, Crystal Sarmiento.
That was fast. Okay.
Hello, fellow Manvel community. It's interesting because the last time I did the inspirational reading, I had bronchitis. And then I was preparing for this, and I woke up this morning with allergies just ripping my throat to shreds. I bet a lot of us can relate to that. My husband's ENT doctor said the pollen's been the worst it's been in 14 years. So bear with me as I struggle with my voice. I typically don't sound like this, so maybe mine will come next time we do it. It'll be in like the winter. But one of the things that I've been studying recently is the book of Samuel, which is really interesting because the mayor also mentioned that lately. So I figured this is something that is happening in the spiritual realm compared to unity when we're talking about unity. And in leadership development training, I write lessons, and I tie in oftentimes spiritual connotations with biblical leaders along with public servant leaders to tie that in, because public service is an act and a form of worship. So I'll start with this. Good leadership isn't just about holding a position. It's about possessing the heart to serve, the courage to act, and the vision to inspire. Leadership today isn't just about our influence or our position, rather character, conviction, and calling, the 3 C's. When we look at David, the shepherd king, and Ronald Reagan, the actor turned president, we see 2 men shaped not by power, but by purpose. David was overlooked by men, but chosen by God. Reagan was underestimated, but rose to become one of the most impactful leaders of his time. And yet, what made them truly great wasn't their platform, rather their posture. Courage in the face of giants, David stood before Goliath, and Reagan stood against communism, declaring boldly, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Servant leadership, David led with the heart of worship. Even as king, he still danced and interceded for his people, as seen in 2 Samuel. Reagan believed in duty over privilege, often saying all great change begins at the dinner table, with the conversation, with people who don't agree, like you all the time. Vision that outlives you. In Proverbs, a very well-known scripture says, where there is no vision, the people will perish. So today I encourage you all, whether you're leading a team, a city, a classroom, or a household, please remember this. Lead with David's heart, speak with Reagan's courage, and serve with heaven's vision. The world doesn't need more leaders. It needs godly ones. Leaders with the heart of David that have humility, repentance, and obedience. Leaders with the courage of Ronald Reagan, bold, principled, and unshakable. This is our call, to step forward not for applause, rather for impact. Because when godly leaders lead, our people and our community flourish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. If you'll please join in saying the pledges with me and standing. First, to the U.S. flag, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. You may be seated. Council, if you will join me around in the front, so you guys can't sit just yet. We have a proclamation to give out here, if you guys want to join me around, for National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And I believe this meeting we have our telecommunications team here, so if y'all could please come forward, so that way we can read this off and present this to you. Come on forward, guys. And Miss April, we have you tagged to give us a speech. You ready? No? Okay. All right. Thank you. So as they come forward, this is our great team that when you call to our police department, these are some of the first people that you will talk to. In the best times and the worst times, they are there. They receive calls at all hours of the day, all hours of the night, and we wanted to publicly recognize you to say thank you for what each of you do. We know that the job isn't easy. Many times you don't get the gratitude and the thanks that you deserve, but we say thank you. So we'll go ahead and read this out here. It says, whereas emergency dispatchers and public safety telecommunicators serve as the vital link between the residents of Manvel and emergency services, ensuring rapid and effective response in times of crisis. And whereas these dedicated professionals answer emergency calls, dispatch first responders, and provide life-saving instructions often under stressful and demanding conditions. Whereas public safety telecommunicators exhibit compassion, professionalism, and dedication, playing a critical role in protecting the lives and property of our community members. And whereas their service is essential to the effectiveness of our police, fire, and emergency medical services, acting as the unseen yet indispensable first responders in emergencies. And whereas National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week is an opportunity to recognize and express our gratitude for the exceptional service, commitment, and sacrifices made by these professionals. Now therefore, I, Dan Davis, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Manvel, Texas, do hereby proclaim April 13th to the 19th, 2025, as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the city of Manvel, Texas, and encourage all residents to join in expressing appreciation for our public safety telecommunicators and the critical work that they perform every day. So thank you, ladies, so much. We'll give them a round of applause. All right. Well, we got to take a photo together real quick, April. You can't screw it off yet. Chief, is there anything that you would like to say here for your team and all that they do? I know that we're excited to get them in the new building here and get you guys a new setup.
It's not like it.
Oh, don't bring that up. Oh, yeah, there was a situation with the generator, so be praying for us, okay? So let me give this to you guys here. If you guys want to stand in the middle, we'll get the three of you. So we'll give that, if you want to get that one to Miss April there. You guys scoot over, so that way you basically straddle that. Perfect, there you go, and then we'll surround it here on the sides. Now it's like 3 and 3, so here, this will we'll go right here. Perfect.
And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Sorry. I'm always bringing up the rear. One more.
So awkward. Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations, y'all are amazing. How's your cat? Good. And your son? Is he here?
No, he's at home.
Okay. Congratulations, ladies. No more proclamations, right? We just.
All right, so we have two more proclamations that we are going to read out as a part of the official record. I'll read these a little bit faster. The first is for Fair Housing Month. Whereas the Department of Housing and Urban Development has initiated the sponsorship of activities during the month of April of each year designed to reinforce the department's commitment to the concept of fair housing. And whereas the City of Manvel supports equal access to all Americans to home ownership opportunities, and whereas the City of Manvel supports equal housing for all citizens without regard to race, color, religion, sex, disability, or national origin, whereas the City of Manvel supports programs that will educate the public concerning their rights to fair housing opportunities, whereas the City of Manvel is honored to join the federal government, the state of Texas, and local jurisdictions across America in celebrating the rich diversity of people to live where they choose. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Dan Davis, Mayor of the City of Manvel, do hereby proclaim April as Fair Housing Month in the City of Manvel. Next, we have a proclamation for Military Appreciation Month. And before I read this out, if you are active duty or if you are a veteran of our military, can you please raise your hand? Well, thank you, each and every one of you, for all that you do, the service and the sacrifice that you have made for our country. It is because of you that America is and continues to be the greatest nation that this world has ever seen. And I want to read out this proclamation in honor of you and all those who have served, do serve, and will serve. Whereas the City of Manvel acknowledges the bravery, sacrifice, and dedication of our military personnel, both past and present, who have selflessly dedicated themselves to the defense of our nation and the preservation of our freedom. And whereas May is designated as Military Appreciation Month and is a time to acknowledge the immense sacrifices and contributions of service members, veterans, and military families who uphold the values of duty, honor, and country. Whereas the citizens of Manvel express their deepest gratitude to all members of the military, including those actively serving, reservists, National Guard members, and veterans, for their unwavering commitment to protecting our freedoms and way of life. And whereas we honor the memory of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation and recognize the courage and valor that they have shown. And whereas it is fitting that we come together as a community to recognize, support, and honor our military members and their families, acknowledging their service and sacrifice. Now, therefore, I, Dan Davis, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Manvel, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Military Appreciation Month in the City of Manvel, Texas, and encourage all citizens to join in recognizing and honoring our military heroes for their service to our country. All right. Councilman Oplager said, "Go Army." Go Army. My dad and I, moment of privilege here, my dad was a veteran of our Coast Guard, and we ran the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. And of course, the entire time that we're running, all the other branches run by and joke at him for being a puddle jumper, and was he even a part of the military? And it was a cool experience for him to see that and us to do it together. So thank you to each of you. Next, we have public comments. We have a lot of new faces in attendance tonight. So for those that have maybe never spoke at a city council meeting before, the way that it will work is if you've signed up to speak, I will read your name, have you come forward, have you officially state your name and address for the record. Then you have 3 minutes to speak. We'll show it on the monitor down here and up on the screens. The reason that we ask for your name and address is we do need to differentiate and have a distinction between those that are interested in things happening in Manvel, as well as those who actively live here within Manvel. We did have 12 homes that reached out to us that submitted comments, but not through the official means. So all 12 comments were expressing opposition to the emergency room. We did have a few that submitted comments through official means. I will read off their names. If you are here and if you would like to speak, please raise your hand. And if they are not here, we'll just submit this as a part of the official record. So we have a Mr. Eddie Baez. Eddie, are you here? Baez? Mr. Eddie submitted a letter in opposition to the emergency room. We have a Jessica Wells. Jessica, are you here? Would you like to speak tonight, ma'am? Okay, if you could please come forward, state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. Thank you for being here tonight.
My name is Jessica Wells. I live at 7014 Harbor Valley Lane. I appreciate y'all letting me.
Is that Harbor Valley? Is that Manvel?
Manvel, yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I appreciate you letting me try and get over my terror of public speaking. I'm also going to speak on behalf of my mother and father-in-law, Gary and Vicki Kimbrell. I believe they submitted letters to you as well. They live at 19432 Lake Ridge Drive in Manvel. In regards to the 24-hour emergency room, our community in general for our neighborhood, has come to a decision, at least between most of us, that we are opposed to this. I know that it's a commercial development, but I would prefer to see something that the community can actually access instead of something that's going to be very few people that actually use this. Also, during the last meeting at the PD&Z meeting, they had submitted paperwork that shows that they are going to, I don't know if it's possibility or what, put in a micro hospital over by HEB. If that is the case, why do we need a freestanding ER as well? Especially when there's going to be an ER down by Sonic, as far as I understand. Personally, I would just like to have something that the community, unity was the perfect word for it, can unite, come together, do things as a community somewhere that families could get together and even have their kids, like Center Court in Meridiana has a playground that we can go and eat and the kids can be entertained with. Our planning and development zoning meeting was quite interesting. Personally, I felt overlooked by the company that is wanting to come. I felt that they discussed us as if we didn't understand what their point was. It seemed they didn't care that the actual neighborhood was opposed. Mainly, they just discussed that taxes would be a great break for us. Also, on a personal note, whether it's not, their broker spoke. He was allowed into our Facebook group on our personal neighborhood group, which I didn't approve of, but majority rules. He spoke at the meeting and discussed that he did not think our group should be allowed to discuss matters like this in a public or private group, which I feel personally we should have a private and safe space where we can discuss our opinions between neighbors. So that frustrated me as well. I appreciate all the employees that spoke at the last meeting. Apparently it's a wonderful place to work. I appreciate that. They drive long distances to get there because they appreciate where they work. But in Houston, you have a lot of driving no matter where you are. You can hate your job and drive 3 hours round trip. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to actually see our voices heard as a community, but I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Jessica. You did a great job speaking publicly, even though you were afraid, and we did hear your voice tonight. Thank you. Next, we have a letter submitted by Nadia and Jose Luna. Not here. They formally objected to the freestanding emergency room. Next, we have a Jeanette Gutierrez.
I'm here.
Okay, would you like to speak at all, or you just? No, okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you, Jeanette. So this was a strong opposition to the proposed freestanding emergency room. Next, we have Jesse Rijos. Okay, Jesse is not here. He said in regards to it, they are both against building the ER in front of the neighborhood. Next, we have a Janie Rojas. No, Janie. Janie is in opposition to the emergency room. Now we will go to individuals who have submitted their comment registration form. Next, we have Mr. David Mintzberg. David, thank you for being here tonight. If you could state your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. David Mintzberg, and I represent the ownership group at the southeast corner of Del Bello in 288. Mayor, council members, I'm back with an updated timeline, which I gave to the city secretary. I don't know if she has had a chance, wonderful, to distribute that. We've made some progress. It continues to be a process. And mostly I just wanted to be sure that I hand-delivered that timeline to everybody. A couple things that I can report to y'all is we're working on the development costs on a regular basis. I met, I think it was about 10 days ago, Keating, LJ Engineering, our legal counsel, representatives from Keating, and myself met for about 5 hours. And you asked what could take 5 hours? Well, the utilities require us sort of laying out everything that's going to take place, and then the whole purpose of the development agreement, which runs between us and me, my group, and Keating, is allocating those costs. And there's a lot of work there of trying to figure out what is 100% going to be Keating, what's 100% going to be my group, and then how are we going to allocate. Everything is proceeding. Everybody's in accord of trying to work it out, and we are in process of doing that. We are dependent on LJA coming back to us. They left with about 2 books of notes. There were 2 men there from LJA, and they anticipate having a first round of comments to us we're promised to have that by this Friday. The other thing that I want to make mention of, and I actually just see it here on today's agenda. 2 weeks ago, we submitted our request for 288 access, and Mayor turned it around, I think, that same afternoon and sent it, but we hadn't heard anything. But I see that it is today on the resolution, and again, communication's most helpful, if it goes both ways. So I understand that's going to be voted on later this afternoon, but we are working on that. We continue to hear from LJA that, they're pushing as hard as they can. We're pushing as hard as we can. Your letter will be very, very helpful. Again, probably the people around this table know what it's like to work with TxDOT. Wonderful people there, but not necessarily the most timely in response. And every time I come out here, I look at the work that's done. They say, they'll get to it when they get to it, but we are pushing on that. I remain available anytime to answer any questions from Mayor, from you, from council members, from city staff, as we work together on this process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mintzberg. Appreciate that update. Next, and Jason, I'm going to mispronounce your last name probably here, so my apologies. How do you say it?
Suchecki.
Suchecki. Okay, so we have Jason Suchecki. Jason, if you could just come state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes. Thank you for being here tonight.
All right, Jason Suchecki, 302 Forest Creek Drive, League City. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and staff for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Dr. T and Manvel ER. Look, I understand concerns about traffic, noise, property values, but this project is not a cement plant. It's not a fast food drive-through. We're a small emergency room treating about 20 patients a day. There's no traffic, lighting in the back. Vehicles rarely come and arrive, the emergency vehicles. There's no lights and sirens when they do. They're all turned off upon arrival. This is not an unknown project. It mirrors the sister facility, South Shore ER in League City. I have video footage. You guys are welcome to see it. There's no ambulance noise, no sirens, no lights in the back. You won't find fights or chaos in the parking lot like some people described. We followed your process from the beginning. In December, we met with city staff, including the city manager and engineers. No conflicts were identified. A second pre-development meeting confirmed that. These are professionals hired by the city of Manvel, supported our project based on facts, not speculation. When we reached planning and zoning, discussion stalled over hours. But ordinance clearly states the issue is resolved through a special use permit, the very thing we're applying for today. There was no public opposition at that meeting, yet we were delayed again. Now, council, the decision rests with you. Manvel's ordinance outlines 12 criteria for special use permits. We meet every single one. I've included a handout that walks through each point with supporting sources, not opinions, but facts. Let's talk about transparency. Many residents informed us that the mayor's been posting against the ER in a private Facebook page. One doctor, the doctor can't access, and neither can any of his architects or team. That's deeply concerning. We surveyed 2 blocks from the site. spoke to 17 residents that were for the project. Another 2 wouldn't speak to us, and another one said she was undecided. City business, especially zoning and SUP matters, should not be discussed in private forums. That excludes the public. If those posts are being used to shape public opinion or influence a decision, it undermines public trust. The handout and sources includes examples. Mayor, respectively, how many times have you posted on a private Facebook page for other SUP permits? How many times for this one's? Have you ever created an event page? In Blue Water's group, you stated another ER limited its hours. That's inaccurate. If they did, they'd be operating as an urgent care. Again, that statement appears to be misleading or at the very, if not entirely false. Zoning decisions require quasi-judicial neutrality. Officials should not prejudge the outcome or privately organize opposition. And that hasn't happened here.
Mr. Jason, if you can start to land this plane, please. You're past your 3 minutes.
Okay, really quick.
Yes, sir.
Finally, if not the ER, then what? According to the current developer, you can see the plans. There's either going to be a coffee shop, a fast food, all will have drive-throughs right along the fence line, automobile and traffic, unlike the ER. No SUP is needed, no neighborhood input. They'll just simply pop up. So, City Council, I respectfully ask for your vote and approval for this SUP. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Appreciate it.
Next, we have a Mr. Chuck Webb. Chuck, if you could state your name and address for the record. Thank you for being here tonight, sir.
Chuck Webb, 1165 Brittmore Road, Houston, Texas. My name is Chuck Webb with High Camp Swift Architects. Thank you for your time and allowing me to speak. During the public hearings, we heard 4 objections to this facility: noise, light pollution, the need for the turn lane on Highway 6, and a lack of city revenue from the facility. I would like to address each of these as they apply to this project. The first issue raised is the amount of noise this facility would have had. The facility will only serve between 6 to 24 patients per day with a staff of 4 to 9 people. The amount of traffic that will be at this facility is far less than a retail or commercial establishment that would be built in the same location that could have hundreds of cars and consumers during the regular business hours. If a fast food restaurant is built here, there will be added noise from the drive-through speakers that will not exist with our project. The ambulance traffic will be minimal, maybe 1 to 2, 3 times per year. By state, these type of privately owned by state law, these type of privately owned freestanding departments cannot accept Medicare or Medicaid. Because of this fact, ambulances will not take patients to these facilities. They will only take them to an acute care hospital. The only time an ambulance will be at this facility is to transfer a patient from this facility to a hospital. The patient will already be stabilized by then, so there will be no need for lights or sirens. The second issue raised is light pollution from our site to the adjoining properties. The facility will be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The lights will be on at night. However, this is no different than any other business that will have normal business hours. Typically, retail and commercial buildings will leave the parking lights on throughout the night for safety reasons. And we have specialty lights that will limit and get rid of the light pollution altogether. So that's not really an issue. The third issue raised is the need for a dedicated left turn lane on Highway 6. We have spoken with TxDOT, and they're not opposed to providing a dedicated turn lane. Highway 6 already has a wide raised median that is planned for a dedicated left turn lane. Additionally, there is already a dedicated turn lane coming from the west at this location. TxDOT told us that all that needs to be done is for the city to fill out the necessary forms and submit the request for a formal review for approval. The fourth was the tax revenue raised for the city. Without knowing what else might be built at this location, this is difficult to calculate. However, we looked at the average cost of a fast food restaurant. The property taxes plus the sales tax that Manvel collects would be approximately $21 million per year. Although there would be no sales tax generated from our facility, the property value will be much higher and would yield the property tax to Manvel of about $26,000 per year, which means more revenue collected by the city. Can I have about 30 more seconds?
Okay, let's make sure that we keep these to 3 minutes, please.
Okay. Is it okay if I can?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Finally, I would like to conclude by adding a concern that was brought up during the public hearing 2 weeks ago. Several of the committee members expressed their desire to have the ability to review projects that are built near the edges of neighborhoods. As they stated, if a project meets code requirements for the zoning of that property, they will never have the opportunity to review the project. In our case, they do have that opportunity. This is the opportunity for the committee and the neighborhood in our case to get the neighborhood to get the facility that addresses all their concerns and actually improves their quality of life in that area. If this project is voted down, then the residents opens up the possibility that any other business that meets the basic requirements of zoning for this property can build anything they want. That meets current code, and the neighbors will have no say in the noise or lights that will be produced from that business, creating a potentially worse situation for their quality of life. We're asking the City Council to approve our application, allow us to proceed to the next step, which will give the city another opportunity to review our solutions to these concerns and provide a much-needed amenity to the community at large. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chuck. Next, we have Brian Robinson. Mr. Brian, thank you for being here tonight, sir. If you could state your name and address for the record, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Brian Roberson, 14210 Imperial Wood Lane, Rochelle. I rise today to bring up on May the 3rd. As we've seen, there are elections, but we haven't talked about as much about the school board elections. I'm Brian Roberson, and I am running for Alvin ISD School Board of Trustees position 4 in the upcoming election. And I have 15 years of experience as a substitute, a paraprofessional, a teacher, a football coach, a speech and debate coach, assistant principal, associate principal, and I turned 2 schools around as a high school principal during the pandemic. I understand the challenges that are facing our schools and, most importantly, our kids and our educators. And I think it's important for us to advocate that we get our constituents out to go and vote in the upcoming election. As we know, early voting starts on the 22nd of April. It'll run through the 26th and then again the 28th and 29th. But once again, the May 3rd election, there will be 4 candidates up for election. There's 2 positions, position 4 and position 5 for the Alvin ISD Board of Trustees. I'm running for position 4. I do believe we have candidates that are present that will be running for position 5, and they can share that. But I just wanted to rise. I'll make sure I yield enough time to recoup some of the time from the previous speakers. There's no unreadiness out of this one. But please, if anyone in attendance would like more information about me and what I plan to do for the district, I'll be sticking around. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan, and best of luck. Next, and I appreciate you putting the pronunciation here. This is Talisa Keel. Did I say that correctly? You did. All right. Well, you helped me out there. I appreciate that. I'm big into pronunciations right now. If you've seen the videos, thank you. How do you say your last name?
Keel.
Keel. Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
Talisa Keel. I'll put the pronunciation for that one too, moving forward. Don't start my time yet, though. We're just
You're
pandering.
good. Please go ahead.
I feel so weird because I have my back here, so is it okay if I kind of
Oh, yeah.
back and forth? Okay.
Your 3 minutes.
All right, well, greetings. Mayor, City Council members, residents of the City of Manvel, and stakeholders. My name is Talisa Keel, and as Mr. Robeson did say, there is upcoming elections inclusive of Manvel City Council. There's also school board elections, and as we know, as Manvel's growing, Alvin Independent School District is also growing. You know, I really loved how we opened up with prayer and a discussion on unity. The importance of unity, and just having really great representation and what type of leadership that we want locally and for our school board. And as Manvel grows and as the Alvin Independent School District grows, I think it's important that we have unified members on the school board from every part of the school district to represent our children, from Alvin to Pearland to Iowa Colony and Manvel. I am a mother, I am a wife, I have 2 small children, 6 and 10 years old. Yes, I have degrees and I have the education and I have tons of certifications, but that is not what qualifies me, I think, the most. What really qualifies me is the 8 years that I spent serving this country in the United States Army, the year that I spent overseas, making decisions in very high stressful situations, oftentimes what many of you as leaders have to do, and what members of our school board will have to do to ensure that the best decisions are made amongst our school district for each and every child, family member, student, and educator. And so bringing the perspective of not only making hard decisions, but also being a current parent in this school district to 2 small children, good Lord, 1st grade and 4th grade, we're getting ready for STAR test. I think that I would really bring an additional unique voice to the table of shared experience, a strategic mindset, inclusive to my professional background and the ability to manage millions of dollars, knowing how to write a budget, knowing how to make strategic plans and push out a strategic thought process, but most importantly, who understands the power of community. And if we want a voice of the community at the table, then I would love to talk about that, and I would encourage you all to also consider your school board candidates for this upcoming election. And I too will be hanging around if you would like more information about me. I've also left some information at the back table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Next, we have Jarrett Browning. Jarrett, thank you for being here tonight. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name's Jared Browning. I live in Lake Jackson, Texas. I work for Dr. Thomas at League City ER. I gave a big speech about how far I drive and this and that, but I guess what I really want to get on now is how we may have seemed to come across during the last meeting. I personally, as a healthcare professional, as an ER nurse, I'm in this to help people. I don't require much to get by. It's really not about money or anything for me personally. I just really do enjoy my job. That being said, my statement here is that I really do just want to help Dr. Thomas offer something more to the Manvel residents, a better option. I can tell you right now, I know personally that we keep comparing this to, oh, there's already going to be one down by Sonic. I can guarantee you right now that they aren't going to be as lenient with their billing and helping out the community with getting that taken care of, as Dr. Thomas says, with his patients in League City. I really just want to stress that regardless of what was said before, at least for a lot of us working for him, and I know for him personally, it is about helping the people. So that being said, I hope that we can get this approved today. If not, that's fine. I know that y'all are a pretty tight-knit community, and I respect that decision. But I just... I don't really need the full 3. That's all I had to say, really.
Thank you, Jarrett. Appreciate your comments. Thank you for being here tonight. Next, we have Kim Covington. Kim, thank you for being here tonight, ma'am. If you could state your name and address for the record, you have 3 minutes.
Kim Covington, 2429 Abbott Brook Drive, Rocheron, Texas. I worked with Dr. Thomas at Mainland ER, and honestly, whenever he asked me about speaking, I couldn't believe this is even a point of discussion. It says, Manvel City on the rise, but you're holding back your community for not having an ER. things that, I was hearing light pollution, noise complaints, stuff like that, which is completely understandable. I was on the ambulance for 27 years. I was in law enforcement for 10, military for 4, and ER nurse for 8. So I understand the whole lights and sirens and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what kind of price can you put on whenever you have a child that needs emergency care? The young lady just spoke about her 2 small children. I promise you, she's not going to worry about lights and the noise pollution and stuff like that whenever that emergency comes up. And usually emergencies come up when it's the most inconvenient, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when, between 2 and 4 is when you have your most deaths. The closest hospital around here is 15 minutes, and that's even running emergency traffic. Like I said, it surprised me that it was even a point of contingency just because there's such a need in Manvel. And I understand that there's another hospital, but if that one goes on internal disaster, what's your other option going to be? If they have to shut down for whatever reason, if it catches fire, whatever, you always want options, especially when you're dealing with a family member, when you're dealing with children. We went to Masters Road together, so I know you got 2 little ones. I mean, what kind of price would you put on your children? To be able to get them emergency care at 3 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning. Doctors will be there 24/7, so you know that you're going to get good quality care. Like I said, I worked with Dr. Thomas, and great, amazing doctor. And that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate you being here tonight. It's good to see you again. Next, we have Samantha Mills or Mines? Mines, awesome. All right, Samantha, thank you for being here tonight. If you could state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay. My name's Samantha Mines. I live at 2914 Windy Hollow Lane in Dickinson, Texas. I also am an employee of Dr. Thomas's, but I come to you on a different avenue of things. I was reading over the approval that you gave the other ER, and one of the things is that they have stated that Manvel EMS will do their interfacility transfers, and that's not okay. You can't take from a 911 service to do an interfacility transfer on a staple patient. I sat down with Mr. Welch and Mr. Lammert on Friday, spoke with them. They're not okay with this either. You have all kinds of things that can go wrong. They have an 8-minute and 35-second response time at the moment. When you're taking a 911 service and sending it on an hour to 2-hour transfer, you're pulling from other parts of the county, and your residents are now suffering with the extended response times. Sometimes those are life-threatening the more time that goes across. I myself coded my own mother when she died in 2012. That is the longest 9 minutes of my life. I could not imagine trying to justify to somebody that you sent a 911 agency on an interfacility transfer, and those minutes are the ones that mattered. I do urge you to reconsider ARER. We're there to help. Manvel EMS has said they have capabilities with blood and plasma that they can help us with. So something should arise. We're there to help, and we want to help, and we want to take the proper channels to help. So if y'all have any other questions, I know some of y'all have EMS experience. I wouldn't care to talk to you a bit. I'm a paramedic. I worked the 911 dispatch. Those minutes matter. And that's all.
All right, thank you, Samantha. Appreciate you being here tonight. Next, we have Dr. Thomas. Dr. Thomas, would you like to speak now, or would you like to reserve your time for the agenda item?
I'll reserve for the agenda item.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Marianne Atkinson. Marianne, you've done this a few times. You're a pro now. You're a veteran. Name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Good evening, council and city staff. My name is Marianne Atkinson. I'm at 7425 Jordan Road, Manvel, Texas. A few people need to learn that. Thank you for putting that out there. I was reading the impact fees. I haven't really read all into it, and I see the first year you're giving people septic and well, you don't have to pay for it. The second year, half. The third, it kind of leaves it open to, are y'all going to charge us and make us do that? Just trying to get clarification on that. I myself am on well and septic. I don't care to be on city services for that, but I don't want to have to pay for that Every year I get my septic, it gets inspected. I have to pay for that, and I pay for the maintenance contract. Second of all, the wedding venue for Taylor and Russell and Magnolia, I think that is a fantastic idea. I live right behind that. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not in the 200 feet, but that is a beautiful church. It is a piece of history, and it would be so, so welcoming to have something going on in that church. It is just beautiful. They did a really good job restoring it, and I wish you would grant them their special SUP. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. And we'll be able to speak to the comments about impact fees a little bit later in this meeting. We have one other citizen comment. How would you pronounce that name? Naleli? Nayeli?
She's actually running a little late. She said she was going to be here at 7:10.
Oh, well, I've moved on at that portion in the meeting. But if she's here with you, I'm guessing that she's in support of the emergency room?
Yes, is there any possibility I could get her on FaceTime or anything?
No, she has to be here in person for it, so thank you, sir. We have no more public comments, Ms. Tammy? All right, we will now move on to the city manager update of the meeting. Dan, we'll turn this over to you, and I believe we have a few things to celebrate today.
We do. We've got a lot tonight, Mayor. The first thing is staff recognition, and we want to, Chief has some things that he wants to talk about, but before I turn it over to him, I want to recognize that Tammy Bell just celebrated 21 years with the city of Manvel on Saturday. So. Yes, she was actually born in Manvel. No. Chief?
I have to get up here for this one. Put my glasses on so I can see what I'm reading. First, I want to thank you, Mayor and Council, for recognizing a fantastic group of people we have working at the police department, which are telecommunications. I can't say enough about them. I always say patrol is the backbone of the police department, but our TCOs are the heart of the police department. If you never sat in one of those chairs during a crisis, you don't really realize what they go through on a day-to-day basis. I've been there, I've sat in that chair, and as soon as that TCO got there, I got up and ran as fast as I could, because that is just something that I just really did not want to do anymore. But I can't say enough about the crew we have, the staff we have there. When I started back 2013, we had 3 dispatchers, a part-time dispatcher, and Michelle, and that was it. Of course, Michelle was records and she filled in, but we have grown tremendously since then, and I can't ask for a better staff in that aspect of it. And thank y'all. Tonight, we want to recognize a couple of individuals that completed some lengthy training, I guess you would say, in executive leadership. This evening, I'm honored to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of 2 of our dedicated officers, Captain Chris Day and Corporal Dylan DeBonis, for their commitment to professional development and leadership excellence. Over the past few months, both Captain Day and Corporal DeBonis have successfully completed the prestigious FBI LEADA, which is Law Enforcement Executive Development Association Trilogy. This leadership education series is a rigorous program designed to enhance law enforcement leadership at all levels. It includes the Supervisor Leadership Institute, which focuses on developing critical leadership skills for supervisors. Command Leadership Institute, which prepares law enforcement leaders for command level positions. The Executive Leadership Institute addresses emerging challenges in public safety leadership. Their successful completion of this program is a testament to their dedication to professional growth and to our department's ongoing commitment to leadership excellence. Additionally, I would like to extend a special recognition to Captain Chris Day for another remarkable achievement in leadership training. Captain Day has successfully graduated from the Texas Police Chiefs Association Law Enforcement Command Officer Program. The acronym is LECOP, or LECOP, depends on where you're from. This distinguished program offers 2 leadership tracks. Track A is leadership skills development. Track B is leadership and organization and influencing culture. Each track consists of 8 rigorous training classes held throughout the state. Captain Day's commitment to this program has earned him the honor of becoming the 119th officer in the state of Texas to graduate from LECOP. Please join me in recognizing Chris Day and Corporal Dylan DeBonis for their dedication, hard work, and pursuit of excellence in law enforcement leadership. Their achievements reflect their commitment to serving our community with professionalism and integrity. Chris, Captain Day did say he wanted to say a couple of words.
Absolutely. Captain Day, please come forward, sir. Got to stick to 3 minutes, Captain.
Start the clock. I just wanted to thank council and the chief. Ever since I've started working here almost 8 years ago, the chief is all about education, training, and council supports us by giving us a training budget. So I just wanted to thank all of y'all for that.
Fully advocating for it, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your advocating for it. And Captain Day, congratulations on the training. And Corporal DeBonis, same for you. I think we have something to present to them. Oh, okay. Do you guys want it with all of council or just with me? What would you guys prefer? Okay. All right, council. I lied earlier. You got to come back around to the front. Okay. So.
Just unplug it.
It seems like my count is going for the blue, right? It's the only time we can do sign with you.
Right here. Chris will get you right here. Council coming around on the sides.
I don't go anywhere unless Blake tells me where to go. Blake's the director. Or mayor. This is an odd picture.
Chief, you gotta come in here too.
I think we need to.
I think we need to cut through.
Yeah, this doesn't feel right.
This way, something?
There we go, now I can see everybody.
Okay.
Now I'm done. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2.
One more.
My famous words, one more.
Congrats, guys.
Look at you moving up. I like it. The education stuff.
Some tacos. I'm gonna bring you some tacos.
Gotcha. I have so many achievers.
We got the last one. We're good.
We might.
It's in town.
I'm being told we might have one more photo.
You guys.
All right, Chief, back over to you.
One more, and then I'll sit down. It's a great honor that I announce a historic milestone for the Manvel Police Department. Over the past few months, we have looked at several candidates for the department's first Assistant Chief of Police. With 4 highly qualified candidates applying for this prestigious role, the decision was not made lightly. After careful consideration of each candidate's experience, leadership, and vision for the future of our department, I'm proud to announce that Captain Rick Alvarado has been selected as the first Assistant Chief for the Manvel Police Department. Assistant Chief Alvarado has been a dedicated member of the police department for over 2 years. During his tenure, he has demonstrated exceptional leadership, unwavering dedication, and a true commitment to the mentorship and professional growth within the department. With nearly 19 years of law enforcement experience, his career has been defined by excellence in service. His journey in law enforcement began in 2006 with the Bay City Police Department, where he served for over 8 years and was promoted to sergeant. He then continued his career with Victoria County Sheriff's Department as a patrol deputy and criminal investigator. In 2020, seeking to be closer to home, he joined the Wharton Police Department as patrol sergeant. Fortunately for us, we were able to bring him to the Manvel Police Department, where he has since made an indelible impact and now considers Manvel his home. Beyond his law enforcement duties, Assistant Chief Alvarado has also dedicated himself to training and mentorship. While serving with the Victoria County Sheriff's Department, he was an adjunct instructor at the Victoria Police Department Law Enforcement Academy. His expertise in SWAT operations has been invaluable, having served as team commander for both the Bay City Police Department and Victoria County Sheriff's Department. Most notably, over the past year, he has played a critical role in developing and training the Manvel Police Department's Special Response Team. His passion for teaching and mentoring young officers has left a lasting impact, shaping not only their careers but also their personal development. Please join me in congratulating Assistant Chief Rick Alvarado on his well-deserved promotion. His leadership, experience, and vision will undoubtedly help elevate the Manvel Police Department to new heights. We are honored to have him in this role, and I look forward to working alongside him as we continue to serve and protect the city of Manvel. As always, he has a bunch of words.
Thank you, Chief. So I wanted to come prepared because most of the time you ask somebody to say a few words, so if y'all bear with me. Also, it'll be under 3 minutes. So I'm Rick Alvarado, the new Assistant Chief of Police. I'm deeply honored and humbled to accept the promotion to Assistant Chief of Police with the Manvel Police Department in the city of Manvel. This milestone is not mine alone. It belongs to every person who stood with me, guided me, challenged me, and believed in me along the way. First and foremost, I would like to thank my wife, Joanne, whose love, patience, and strength have been a cornerstone of my journey. To my sons, Zeus, Dory, Major, and Bear, you are my purpose, my pride, man, and a constant reminder of what legacy truly means. To Chief Traylor, thank you for your leadership and trusting me with this responsibility. To the men and women of the Manvel Police Department, those I've worked with, worked for, and had the privilege of mentoring, this honor reflects the confidence you have placed in me and the commitment I've made to serve you with integrity. I also want to express my gratitude to those who trained me, inspired me, and helped shape the officer and person that I've become over my almost going on 19 years of service. To my late father, I hope I've made you proud, and to my mother, thank you for your unwavering support and belief in who I could become. This promotion is more than just a promotion. It's a promise. It's a promise to continue serving with integrity, courage, humility. I'm proud to stand beside Chief Traylor as we move forward together in the future of the Manvel Police Department. Thank y'all for this time.
So, Assistant Chief, I think that they are going to want to take a photo of you and Chief Traylor together.
So, Ms. Michelle, you can change this one on the desk.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold your hand for so long.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I didn't know you were doing that.
Well, yeah, I'm figuring it. I'm just writing it down.
Okay, good.
There we go. Well, Assistant Chief, on behalf of City Council and all of the city, we say congratulations. I know that there were many qualified and well-deserving candidates, but we are blessed to have you in this position. My prayer for you is that you may be equipped with the full armor of God, that everywhere that your foot treads is His, and that as you and your family succeed, as everything that you touch your hand to prospers, that the city of Manvel is better for that. So to the Assistant Chief's family, thank you for giving him to us. I know each and every day when he steps outside that door, you don't know if he's going to come back, and that's the reality of the job. So we say thank you for giving us this gift and for his leadership. Chief, thank you for recognizing that you need help. That's one of the, sometimes asking for help is the toughest thing to do, but you picked the right man for the job. I'm looking forward to seeing how you two lead the department with the captains, lieutenants, and onward. So thank you, sir. All right, Mr. City Manager, back over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now a transition to a development update from Joe's. This is something that he just started doing with PD&Z a couple of months ago. And last time, I think you were out of town, so I ended up doing it for you. But you ready, Joe?
Yes. So this covers some of the development discussions and projects that we initiated for the month of February and March. So in terms of commercial construction approvals, we have the Stillwater Retail Plaza, which is on Highway 6 next to the gas station. We have approved the civil plans as well as the building plans for Lowe's, and they've already started moving dirt and started construction of their civil improvements. In terms of certificate of occupancy, we've issued about 6 certificate of occupancies for businesses. We have the Sedona Lakes Plaza Storage Building. We have the Treatran Dental Office on Masters Road. We have a business called Pro Tailor and Alterations on Bailey Road. We have the Alvin Community College, which got its certificate of occupancy towards the end of February. And then we have the UPS that recently opened on Highway 6 here. And we have the Milano Nail Spa, which is in the Manvel Town Center. We did have several pre-development meetings. I always include a disclaimer. Some of these projects do not progress into a project. They're just initial discussions. And we had several discussions February and March. It ranged from the Bridge Church wanting to see if the existing gym building could be used as a church on weekends. We've had a discussion with a team who wants to do a hotel on Cemetery Road. It doesn't have frontage on Highway 6. It's set back a little bit from Highway 6. They did submit an application for an SUP, and it'll be presented to y'all soon. We did have a group that's looking at developing a self-storage place at County Road 48 in Yanni Palms Road. There was a business owner who's looking at a building on Rogers Road to use as a cafe and bakery. There was also a meeting on discussion on possible expansion of the Twin Lakes RV park. We had a potential buyer who was looking at an about 97-acre subdivision on Belcher Road. And then recently we also had a meeting with a group that's looking at a property on Masters Road, north of the church on Masters Road for a multifamily development. And all these projects are like either potential developers or the design team doing their due diligence to understand the requirements of the city. So these are some of the projects that we touched upon February, March. We'll come back with an update next month.
And Joes, do you feel comfortable telling them about the idea that the graphical idea that you're working on for this update?
Sure. So one of the things that Chen, who's our GIS specialist, worked on is a tool that we'll make available on the website for everybody. I mean, citizens, business owners, residents, boards and commissions and council, to go on a map and visualize what's developing in Manvel. It would include all the recent approved plats. It would include certificate of occupancies issued. It would include commercial construction plan approvals, and all of that would be available on a map. It'll have a list. The dashboard will include list of projects. You click on the item, it'll take you to the location and give you some basic information. Again, I mean, we're doing it for the first time, so it's a work in progress. As time passes, the tool will get better and we'll have more information. But for now, it'll have minimal information to start with. So we are hoping it'll be on the website pretty soon, in a week or so.
Thanks, Joseph. Next, as you know, Council, we have many capital improvement projects going on right now, and one that we've wanted to get going for a long time is Acre Lake, and so Robbie's got a quick update for that project.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So we had a pre-bid meeting for the Acre Lake project, and that was held on 4/2 at 10 o'clock. And then on 4/14, the questions will be due to the city around 2 o'clock. And then on 4/23, the proposals will be due for the city. And then on 5/5, we will have an anticipated contract award. So hopefully, and we had 13 interested parties that actually attended. So.
Yeah, that was the exciting part last week with the pre-bid meeting in here. That like Robbie said, we had 13. I think they represented 10 different construction firms, but there was quite a bit of interest, and then I think everybody went out to the site.
Yeah, we did a site visit afterwards. Yes.
Yeah, so it's exciting. So moving forward, and like Robbie said, we're hoping to we plan to open the bids on the 23rd. So they're working on their proposals right now, and then we'll keep you posted. And then the last thing was Ms. Tammy's going to give us an update on the Extravaganza.
So this Saturday will be our egg extravaganza. It will be at the AISD CTE Annex at 7381 Lewis Lane from 11 to 2. The Easter egg hunt itself will be at noon. And then this year we did add something on top of that, at 12:30, we're going to have an adaptive egg hunt for children with special needs so that they, whether they're in a wheelchair or autistic or need a quieter space to get their eggs. So that will be at 12:30. And then a big shout out to our sponsors that are partnering with us. We have Waste Connections, Commissioner Cade's office, and HEB are all partnering with us to sponsor some of the event. And hope everybody will come out this Saturday. The weather's supposed to be beautiful.
And then the very last thing, Mayor, is just a reminder that this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. is MEDC, Manvel Economic Development.
That's awesome. Thank you, Dan. Tammy, I love the adaptive Easter egg hunt. Love that we're doing that this year. That was a great idea. I've got a question that I've been asked. Is there going to be an adult Easter egg hunt in the future?
So that is my hope, to have the glow-in-the-dark adult version. It's done well in a few neighboring cities, so hopefully maybe we can add that to us one year.
There we go, in the future, right? Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for those great updates. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Council, any comments or questions about the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Councilman Hudson. All those in favor? All those opposed, motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Council, what I'd like to do is move up agenda item number 9. This is the, I'll read it out here, and if you're good with that, we'll move this up. This is the consideration and possible action to direct staff on participation in the Alvin ISD Ames Awards sponsorship packages. We have a representative that's here from the school district that has been patiently waiting. So, Council, are you good if we move that one up?
Yes.
All right. You could come forward, ma'am, just kind of explain to us a little bit about what the Ames Award program is, and then Dan, we'll have you share a little bit about what the city did last year and what the ask is for this year.
Good evening. Thank you guys for having me. My name's Coach Newsom. I'm the Associate Athletic Director for Alvin ISD. The two things that I'm going to talk to you about are what I believe are two of the best events that we do in Alvin. They celebrate kids and leadership and what they do not only on the field, but also in the classroom. The first event is called Ames, and if you've ever watched ESPN, it's like an ESPY Awards night. And what we do is the kids get dressed to the nines, tuxes, formals. They have an opportunity to walk the red carpet, be interviewed, and talked about what impacted them during their season. And what we ask our coaches to do is they pick the single best basketball player, and when I say best, I don't necessarily mean athletically, but they're the kid on their team that empowered their team the most, that they're a leader in the classroom, they're a leader on the court, they're a leader on the field. And then Alvin ISD, we have a committee of 15 people, and we vote, and we pick the basketball player of the year for Alvin ISD. With that event, we honor athletes, staff members, community members. We do a fan of the year, beyond the game. We do the integrity award. We do the sportsmanship award. And so we try to encumber a lot of things that not only will impact their campuses, but also impact our communities. It was awesome last year to see those kids dress up and learn how to shake somebody's hand and be interviewed and to teach them those leadership skills were really important. So it was a great event, very proud of it. Our kids loved it, our parents loved it. This year we're gonna have the kids meet down in our offices on the north end of the field, and we're gonna bring a limousine around and have them be dropped off so that they can walk the red carpet there. The other thing that we use this sponsorship money for is an event called Athlete. And Athlete, what we do is we bring 4 student athletes from each program in, and we spend a whole day working on leadership skills. And during that day, this year, our word is just leadership. Because if you walk on campuses, sometimes I think that kids want to be leaders, but they don't know how to be leaders. And so this year, we're going to talk about what does that look like? If you're a leader on a campus, what do you need to do? How do you talk to your teammates? How do you encourage them to be better? And so we're going to do that. And in that day, it's 4 kids from every sport. We do sophomore, junior, senior, and the coach gets to pick the one at-large kid. And that one at-large kid may not be the best leader. He may need to be taught leadership skills. And so we bring all them in, and we bring about 30 or 40 community members in that sit at the table, and they don't necessarily lead, but they facilitate. And I think it's awesome because I think our kids get to know community leaders, but our community leaders also get to see that this world is going to be in a good place, that our kids are amazing, and that they offer so much. And so the sponsorship that we're asking you guys for, help pay for those events. They are all funded through donations. I'm very competitive, so just to let you know, Iowa Colony and the City of Alvin have both decided to help us out again this year. So if you're competitive, jump on the bandwagon with us. But it's just great events to celebrate our kids. I think the more that we celebrate them and teach them leadership skills, the better off our future is going to be. So anything that you guys would be willing to contribute to that, we would appreciate. If anybody has any questions, I would love to answer them because I'm very excited about these two events and what they do for our kids.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Coach Newsom. If we can just have you stay up there for a second. Dan, I know last year we went in and each city gave a certain amount of money. Can you kind of explain what we gave last year, what we'd be looking to give this year?
Yes, sir. So last year we teamed up with City of Alvin and the City of Iowa Colony, and all three cities did $4,000 apiece. So it was a combined contribution of $12,000. So there's not specifically a $12,000 one this year. There's, I guess, 9 different levels. So I did hear from one of the city managers, and they're thinking about the same range. We could do that again, or if we wanted to do the pro at $5,000, that'd be about the same that we spent last year, roughly. Or of course, we could do more, but that'd be the will of council.
Sounds good. Thank you, Dan. Council, do you have any comments or questions for the city manager or for Coach Newsom? Coach Newsom, what I love that you said is it's not necessarily the one that has the best stats on the field or the most athletic, but it's the one that, while they might have good stats, that's the difference maker. Yeah. That's the leader on the field, off the field, in the classroom, yes, showing up on time. I attended the award show last year, and that's what stood out to me, is it was all around good character. That's who was nominated. And I think that's something special that we offer here in Alvin ISD. So council, if you're in support of it, I think would you guys be in support of if we made a motion for the pro for $5,000? Would you guys be good for that? Okay, so I'll make a motion to direct staff to give a sponsorship for the pro sponsorship level. Do I have a second? We have a second from Councilman Bonner. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys very much. And if any of y'all would love to be table leaders and sit and visit with our kids during the day, please reach out and let me know. We would love to have you. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely. Coach Newsom, if we could have you send information to Ms. Tammy about that, she'll distribute it to council, and then if council's available, we'll let her know and pass it back to you
Awesome.
that way.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, council, we will now move back to agenda item number 1. This is an update by Waste Connections on the CPI rate adjustment. This is an adjustment that is already authorized underneath the agreement that's in place. Do we have a representative here from Waste Connections tonight?
So they were not able, they had a conflict with the schedule that they did not expect. So they will be here at the next meeting. If you could postpone that one. They wanted to introduce you to their new the individual that took Zach's position, and he could not be here this evening.
Okay. And I believe it's a rate increase of 5.6%. Do we know when that's going into effect? Is it already in effect, or do we happen to know that?
It is on the June billing cycle.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So my understanding is not necessarily expected. There's been some years that they haven't increased rates, but they have certain allowed limits that they can increase rates if they so choose, and they'll be able to speak to that at the next meeting. Okay. Yep. All right, council, I'll make a motion to postpone agenda item number 1 till the next meeting. Do I have a second for that? We have a second we'll give this one to Councilman Perry. All those in favor? All those opposed? Postponement passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay, next we have agenda item number 2. This is consideration and possible action to approve the first of 2 readings of ordinance 2025-0-07. We'll turn this over to staff first, and then Dr. Thomas will get you in the warm-up zone there.
Mayor and Council, this is a request for an SUP. I'll try to be really brief because we've had an extended presentation at the last meeting. So this project, everybody, y'all are aware of the location. It's next to the AutoZone that is under construction, abutting the Blue Water Lake subdivision. This went to we had the first public hearing for this project on March 10th at the Planning, Development, and Zoning Commission. And at that meeting, there were no public comments made, but the item was postponed because at that meeting, the applicant indicated that there's state regulation that requires freestanding ERs to be 24 hours, and staff's review and recommendations were primarily based on an understanding that there were no state requirements for 24 hours operation. So after that, the next public hearing was scheduled at the City Council meeting on March 17th, and at that meeting, also no opposition was expressed from residents at the meeting. However, staff received several emails and letters expressing opposition after the meeting. At that meeting, the applicant made their presentation and explained their reasoning in support of their project and how it benefits the community. And during their presentation, they did indicate that they had spoken to some of the neighbors right behind the subject site, and they had generally expressed support for the project. And on March 24th, the agenda item was the requested SUP was again taken to the Planning, Development, and Zoning Commission so that we could get a recommendation from them. At that meeting, staff modified the recommendation with by changing the condition that the approval be based on an amendment to the zoning ordinance's requirements for SUP allowance for medical uses and other personal care uses. Just to give a little background on that, Texas Occupations Code require that medical uses and massage establishments be treated similarly with same kind of regulations, and the city has adopted predetermined conditions to be in line with those ordinances, those requirements from the state. And since they require a 24 hours operation, our city attorney noted that it could be a situation where we could be discriminating with how massage establishments are considered. So what staff is recommending is to modify one of the conditions that pertains to operating hours to be that it can operate 24 hours if a zoning ordinance amendment is approved by the council to modify the predetermined conditions to allow for 24 hours operations for all medical uses and massage establishment if there is a state requirement to do so. And that is an amendment that we would be bringing in front of you pretty soon. And in fact, we do have an agenda item included to set a public hearing for that zoning amendment, and we can talk in detail about that later. So staff did review the application and the proposed site plan and the layout based on the criteria given in the SUP review criteria, and based on the review, there are certain design measures and modifications needed to address some of the concerns like the light pollution and the sound and all of that. They've submitted a landscape plan. They do have preliminary approval. They've indicated preliminary approval from TxDOT on moving their access from Highway 6. So based on all of that, staff did recommend approval with several conditions, which is listed in the report, and staff's recommendation is the same. At the March 24th Planning, Development, and Zoning Commission, a motion for favorable recommendation failed due to because the voting went 1 yea and 5 nays. So PD&Z is not forwarding a favorable recommendation of approval. And with that, I would conclude my presentation. If you all have any questions of staff, I'm here. And I know the applicant has a presentation that he would like to make.
Sounds good. So what we'll do, Dr. Thomas, if you'd like to come forward and present, we'll do Dr. Thomas's presentation. Council will open it up at that point then to any questions and comments for the applicant and or for staff. Dr. Thomas. I think we already have this one already, Tammy. Is this the one?
That's from last time, yeah.
Is this
It's a little bit updated, that's all.
Okay.
This is updated? or
Yes, ma'am. This is the updated one.
This is updated?
Yeah, the red one is from the last time.
Thank you.
Lots of pieces of paper
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Is this, what specifically is the difference? Because I just went through this, so I know which one, what's.
Yeah, the difference is in the page 7 to 9 along the manual strategic plan 2024, 2045.
Strategy plan?
Yeah. Can I disconnect here?
Okay, I see it. Thank you.
There's some computer issues that Jose is working on it. If you want, we can go ahead and start.
Yes, please.
My name is Dr. Sachmo Thomas. English is my third language, so if anyone can't understand me, please raise your hand. Oh, hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sachmo Thomas. I'm the we have a bunch of owners. I'm one of the owners for this facility. As I said, English is my third language. If anyone please cannot understand, please raise your hand and I'll be happy to explain. We are having some computer issues. Jose is working through it. Hopefully the PowerPoint presentation will come up.
His name's Joe.
Oh, Joe's, yes, Joe's, yes. So this is a Manvel ER emergency room, which is an affiliation of the South Shore ER. In the table of contents, you can see the proposed location, the aerial view, the layout plan, the site plan, the floor plan, local residents, 2045 strategy plan, current distance to the emergency care, local ERs in the Lake City, which we own and operate the ER, employment opportunities at Manvel ER, our current and future projects, upcoming projects, and 2027 plan for us for the Brazoria County, and the closing statement. So under the proposed location, you can see we are in the Blue Water subdivision. We are on Highway 6. After the Starbucks is AutoZone. We are the third location from there. Yep. This is a site layout. We do have an approval from the TxDOT for a curb cut. With the curb cut will be right into the ER. This is a proposed site plan. You can see you'll come in through the Highway 6. First will be the Starbucks, second will be the AutoZone, and third will be our location. This is a proposed floor plan. It's around 7,000 square feet, which is most of the freestanding ERs is around that. Responses from local residents, we do have around 16 or 17 favorable responses. I think we submitted it to the city last time. This is a Manvel 2045 strategic plan that was implemented by the Manvel, basically safe, connected, sustainability, prudent, opportunity, healthcare, healthy, age, and welcoming. If you go through it connected, we want to work with the community to fund the local causes and scholarships. We do a lot of scholarships at the South Shore ER. We do around $35,000 per annum for just along the scholarships and other fundings also to the local ISDs. Prudent, we bring around $146,000 in property tax alone a year. In the healthy, we want to keep the people happy. We hope nobody has any medical emergencies, but we all know emergencies don't wait. Sustainability, we have a plan for the light and noise pollution that the residents were concerned about, which is very, very minimal. Welcoming, we welcome everyone over there to the ER. Everyone is welcomed for a free medical evaluation. Opportunity, we are one of the highest paid jobs when you compare our employees getting paid even from Memorial Hermann or Methodist. Our employees travel this much because it's one of the highest paid jobs, and along with the health benefits. Safe 24/7, we are generator operated, so even if there is a hurricane, unless it's a mandatory evacuation, we will be there, and we have been there before. Age-friendly, we welcome any age groups, and we also own and operate multiple senior livings and memory care. Distance, the current distance, the minimum distance for any person who gets sick in Manvel, if they want to go to Pearland, is at least 12 miles and 15 minutes drive. That's one of the main disadvantages of the Manvel. You have around 17,000 residents in Manvel now. Local ERs in the Lake City, if you look in the Lake City area, the ERs are the freestanding ER there's a lot of freestanding ER, one across the other. If you look at the Methodist ER has a hospital, then they have a freestanding ER. If you look at the UTMB, right across the UTMB is the HCA. If you look at the Elite Care, right across Elite Care is a Memorial Hermann. Within like 8-mile radius, there is like 9 freestanding emergency rooms. Employment needs, we have I can speak about the Manvel ER that will be coming up. So we'll have around 28 full-time jobs and 14 part-time jobs. Our payroll alone per month runs around $350,000 to $400,000 just in the payroll. Our current projects, these are some of the projects that I own and operate. One is the South Shore ER. It's a $5 million project. We have 24 full-timers there and 30 part-time. We have been open since 2021. The next one is Thomas Manor Memory Care. It's memory care that I own and operate. It's a 16-bed memory care. It's a $5 million project. We have around 18 full-time and 20 part-time employees. Other is a Dr. T Med Spa that I own and operate. It's a $1.2 million project. We have around 5 full-timers and 3 part-timers. Other one is a testosterone clinic. It's a $1.5 million project. We have around 8 full-timers and 3 part-timers there. We are opening the first hospital in Friendswood. It should be opened up in July. It is known as a Friendswood Hospital. It's a $25 million project. It will be 12-bed ER and 6-bed med-surg. We'll be employing around 52 full-timers and 60 part-timers there. We are also opening up the senior living. It's known as a Magnolia Senior Living in August 2025. It's a $20 million project. It's an independent living facility with 80 beds and 16 full-time and 8 part-time. We also have a Thomas Manor Senior Living, which is a $4 million project and 22 bed, and which has 12 full-timers and 15 part-timers. We also started the work on Thomas Manor Assisted Living. It's a 3-story building. It is an assisted living facility, $25 million project. We'll have around 100 residents there, which will have around 38 full-time and 24 part-timers. These are our leaders. Our medical director here is going to be Dr. Corey Anderson. I know Dr. Corey for 20 years, wonderful doctor. He lives in Lake Jackson. He works at Brazosport Hospital and also at Altus, which is right across Brazosport Hospital. And now in Lake Jackson, they also have a hospitality ER coming over there, which is a hospital. So it's like around 29,000 people in Lake Jackson, but they have 3 facilities right there. Next is Tanya Lasagna. She will be our facility administrator. She lives in the Angleton area. Next is Laura Cotton. She will be the operations. She has more than 15 years of experience in the administrative world. We do have other plans for Manvel, which is in the 2027 plan for Brazoria County. We are negotiating a deal with which is right across the HEB to put a micro-hospital there. Micro-hospitals are not that easy to put in. It takes a lot of time, a lot of regulations. Before we do any hospitals, we do need a freestanding ER. Some of the residents ask, why do you need 2 of them? I mean, the way the insurance world works is that you need one to collect all the billing, to collect all the coding, to know what is the reimbursement in that area before you can build a bigger one. We are in negotiations over there with Mrs. Barbara McHutchinson to acquire the 7.5 acre, which may or may won't happen. If it doesn't happen, we may have to move into Pearland area. Well, that's pretty much the plan. Let me see. Anything else over there? And the closing statement, I just want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity. This is the 4th time we are coming here. I hope we can have a yes or no answer today, because this is like we have been dating for a long time and cannot get a ring on the finger, you know. So we came with open arms. Some of the residents had their concerns that they want something with a community participation where the kids can go. We have free snacks, free cookies, free coffee. They want to come, they want to hang out, they can. We don't do any balanced billing. We are not here to rip any people off or anything. We live in the community. We know the community, We are from small family. Most of the people we hire live in the community too, I'm all yours.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Thomas. You're a very busy man. How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
Not enough.
Not enough. I know the feeling. Well, there's 2 comments before I open it up to council for any comments or questions. I appreciate Mr. Jason bringing up my social media usage. I learned very early on when I was a young elected official, 2019, from a Miss Laura Marie. Actually, she said you got to find the way that your community communicates. And in Manvel, that's through social media. And we want to engage and be transparent with the community. And so I'm proud of all of our social media usage and the way that we engage with our neighbors and create an environment where we're friendly and supportive, but we also challenge each other's opinions. Council, just as a reminder, the decision tonight is land use based. This is not whether or not we want another ER in Manvel. It's not based off of whether or not, Dr. Thomas, you would be successful. We have to make this decision purely based off of whether or not this is the right location, whether or not it is land use. So with that, are there any council comments or questions?
Currently we have 0 ERs in Manvel. This is a master plan community. We are ready to go. We can build this in 6 months, be done with it.
Thank you, sir.
We have done this before.
Absolutely. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you so much for that amazing speech and preparation. First of all, to your team, it sounds like they really admire you and what you're doing, and taking the time out of their hopefully not paid schedule to come out here and support, their boss. I spend a lot of times talking to employees and bosses, and you can see when you have a good team. So I can see that at least they're willing to drive up here to bat for you. My job, though, as a council member is to bat for my citizens that call me, that will hold me accountable for any of the decisions that I choose to make on their behalf. That's why they vote us in here. And while this is based on land use, I want to say that that's exactly what it has to be about, is land use and doing the right thing for our community. So there's just a couple questions that I have that if you could bring clarity to those to help me maybe arrive to a more firm decision. I was spending time researching your information here, and I watched the PD&Z meeting, and I watched the conversations and the arguments of why we need another ER. I really love this page 14 that you guys provided. It says that at present, the closest source of a true 24/7 emergency care is over 15 minutes away. Why did you guys not include our EMS services in that? Because I've had to call EMS and they were in my house in less than 60 seconds.
Because you need a physician, that's why.
Okay, so you need a physician. Yes, and are you guys able to take that? Are you able to receive an ambulatory call?
So we had a meeting with Tim Welsh, who's your director for EMS. So in their protocol, they usually only transport patients to the hospital unless the patient requests it.
Okay, yes, so I heard you mention a possibility, kind of enticing, that you guys are interested in a micro hospital. And I can see that beautifully on the other side of 288.
That's down the street. That's still in the negotiations. It takes 2-3 years easily. And if you have to come through another SUP, probably we won't. We'll move to the next location and be done with it.
Yeah, we understand. We get it. So I think that was really interesting to see that. But also, I noticed that you guys listed Clear Creek FESD, Methodist FESD on
yes,
here.
Ma'am.
Local ERs in League City, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which is impressive because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 local ERs.
Yes, ma'am.
Within
there is 9 within 8
square
miles.
miles.
Yes, ma'am. Within
right?
8 miles, yes, ma'am.
However, when I look at the population,
it's 121,000.
It's 117,000 as of today.
Yes, ma'am.
I looked that up. Friendswood has another 40,805 residents that reside there. So naturally, yes, your argument to me the other day was we can have a Chick-fil-A and a Burger King. That's American business, and
yes,
I'm for that 1,000%.
Yes, ma'am.
If it's sustainable.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's not the discussion today. The discussion today is the use of this land.
All right. So there is 9 ERs, just freestanding for 121,000 people, not including the hospital.
For what?
Not including the hospital.
Where's 421,000?
121,000 people in Lake City.
Oh, okay,
for 9 freestanding.
121,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the resort, I'm sorry, the county information is probably off a little bit. Not a big
I'm
deal.
not sure. I'll go with 117. It's
Give
low.
or take
That's good. That's even
5,000,
better.
right? Okay. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, great. You have a density of a population that's established that hopefully can sustain that. But most importantly, I did the math, and there's no hospital within 2-mile radius in this.
2 mile?
In 2 mile, because here are 2 ERs that we've already approved one,
Yes, ma'am.
which we gave them a rough time.
Right.
And the second one is within 2 miles.
Yes, ma'am.
And given the population of 117,000 current residents in the surrounding area, you think that that's a good use
Absolutely.
of your investment?
If you divide 117,000 by 9, what is it? Roughly 20,000, right?
1.4.
Yeah, so roughly 20,000 people per year, right? Or less. We don't need to go to Lake City. Just look at Angleton. Just look at Angleton. It's just close by. It's a Brazosport Hospital there, right? Right across is Altus. And the hospitality ER is breaking ground there. They have what? 29,000 residents? So that is 10,000 per resident. What I'm saying is that this is not about control. It's about giving the people the right to choose. Let the people choose. The survival of the fittest, they will win. If they're not in business, if 1 year, if we goes down, we still have to pay the property tax, $146,000 a year.
Dr. Thomas, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So it sounds like you're really good at this. This is your profession. You're a great doctor.
No, ma'am. My profession is a doctor.
Okay, and you're very
This is
smart.
the first time I'm going this far.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's
thank you for
very-
putting me through
that's
this.
That's very, flattering about Manvel. The other question I have is, what other properties did you guys look at where this could be a possibility, where there wasn't so much opposition in the Manvel area, so you can serve our residents?
No, we looked at several other properties. The one property we actually looked at the one, close to the 288 and Highway 6 that we had a falling apart. The other one was next to the Big Horn over there.
Okay.
But it has some detention and thing issues over there. Anywhere we go in Manvel, there is a detention issue that comes there.
Yes.
And whenever you strategically locate any property, it has to be fit in a commercial zone. And if it is a master plan community, it's much better because there's always the detention sewer electric is right there. You don't have to come back and go through this process again. Because if you buy 2 acres, you're going to lose 1 acre. And it takes a lot of time to go through it. So for a master plan community close to businesses, that's what we look for.
Okay, so it's relatively what you're asking for, somewhere that's close to already a neighborhood that could access you and for the utility.
Absolutely. You look at our Friendswood Hospital. It's sitting in an HOA. I know some of the residents had concerns. It is sitting in an HOA. Friendswood Hospital is in Autumn Creek. We have to pay HOA fees every year. There is no lights or sirens or anything there. This is all in the mind that's playing out.
That's all. I'm sorry, say that again?
It's all in people's mind that's playing up, because we have the Friendswood Hospital. It's sitting right in the HOA. HOA. We have to pay HOA.
We're talking about a different city.
Yes, ma'am. Just for your example, just like you mentioned League City,
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning Friendswood.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And
just
Dr.
for
Thomas,
clarity.
how many feet in between your Friendswood facility and the first residential home is there?
Residential homes?
It's a couple hundred feet.
No. It's right behind.
Yeah, I've looked it up on the map.
No, it's
in
right
the
behind. It's right
in the
behind the
HOA.
hospital.
It's in the
I don't
HOA.
think there is even 100 feet, sir. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I drove by it.
Sure.
Down there. I see the big black tarp that says Dr.
You should have called
Thomas.
us. I would have given you a tour of the facility.
That would have been nice.
That would have been.
I am shocked, though, that the residents approved that. I'm like, that's almost inside your master
Because the
plan.
residents over there know better.
They know
That's a big
better.
difference. That's a big
Interesting.
difference,
I like your choice of words. Friendly
Thank
guy. Hey, Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for answering my questions. I'm
No
sure
problem.
my colleagues have their own.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Any other comments from council? Councilman Bonner?
So part of your presentation has been that down the road you look at this micro hospital.
Yes, sir.
So if everything went fine and you built this micro hospital, then what's the need for the facility that you're asking to build today?
No, you always have to start with a freestanding ER to collect the data because insurance looks at something called a charge master. And we don't have a charge master for Manvel because there is nothing to compare with. And a freestanding ER, you can build that with the land, with the building is $7 million. Micro hospital is $40 million and it's a lot of work. So first you put a freestanding ER, you make sure that works and that's running and it's sustainable before you start it. So if this is only sustainable, then only we start that. If this is not sustainable, we do not.
Once you had the micro hospital built, and it was
Yes, sir.
operating,
Yes, sir.
what would the reason be then to keep the other building? And if you didn't keep it, it's kind of limited on looking for another
No.
person
Oh, no,
like
no,
you
we
to build it.
absolutely keep it because it's extremely expensive to build a freestanding ER. That is one of the highest regulatory. So we have to keep
I just
it.
worry that we're going to fall into the same thing that other communities have, to where as soon as they build something bigger or something gets closer to them hospital-wise, they're out of business, and we've got a piece of property that could have had something else on it or could have had multiple things should a tenant move out that now can only be used for possibly one thing.
Right. I mean, which facility has failed? Give me an example.
Well, there's several of them in Pearland that closed
Just say
down.
which one.
Silver Creek, there's
Yep.
many.
No, Silver Creek, the ER is back open.
Four different owners
Which one?
since 2020.
No, Silver Creek is back open though. It's back open and working.
It's a different owner though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a
They
different.
were being subsidized by the COVID shots, and so that wasn't enough to.
Yeah, absolutely. Healthcare facility, just like any other facilities, ma'am, is going through the crisis, which means these
Yeah.
big hedge fund guys comes in, they buy you up, they trim all the fat. It's the same. Oh, you look at your primary care doctor. You don't see a single doctor anymore. You could, when you were kids, you could have gone to a doctor's house, he'll treat you. You don't see that anymore. Or a single doctor's practices because it's unaffordable.
That's a business model.
Yes, ma'am. They have made it so unaffordable. There's no way they can do it. It has to be at least 4 to 8 doctors. And all the doctors are getting bought up.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions from council?
Any more? If no one else does, I have something.
I got one.
Yes, sir.
How many standalone ERs fail?
In the first time, in the wave, just before COVID, there was around like 30% of them failed, like including the one in Alvin, that failed. Because it was all started by hedge fund guys, okay? The one in Alvin, the first choice was by a big hedge fund guy. He knew how to make money. They went to IPO, they went into stock and trade. The initial investment was, per stock was like $28. He bumped it up to $110. He filed for bankruptcy. He took his money, he got out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, so it's a standalone, the other one, so you wouldn't take, will you take Medicare?
By state law, we just cannot take Medicare, Medicare or TRICARE, any CMS, but any patient, we will offer them free medical screen. And if it is a medical emergency, we go ahead and treat them for free.
Right.
Yeah. Like if a patient comes to...
Kind of the same thing, yeah.
Yes, sir. If a patient comes to us with chest pain, we don't ask for the insurance, we just go ahead and treat them, that's it.
Isn't that the law though?
Yes. Yeah.
You have to treat them, you can't turn them away no matter what.
No, we have to do a free medical screen unless there is a life limb or active labor. That's the law. That's what I said. We do a free medical evaluation for everyone here.
So, Dr. Thomas.
Yes, ma'am.
Kind of one comment, one question. I'm looking at your facility here that you're working on in Friendswood, and I've seen the photos. It looks like it's a beautiful facility. Just to make sure we're on the same page, it's about 150 from building to building, 150 feet from your building, which was already an existing business prior to an
Yes, sir.
apartment complex, but then it's a couple hundred feet to the nearest single-family residence. So just a clarifier that's there. In regards to the micro-hospital with Miss Barbara, would there be environmental concerns about an active well that is actively burning into the air next to a micro-hospital? Would that be something?
We did not see anything over there when we did the initial assessment, but again, this is just a preliminary talk. We will only do it we'll only do those projects until we get a freestanding ER or something close by where we can collect the data.
Because when we had the meeting back here at City Hall, you had mentioned that there was 2 lots. One lot is not owned by Miss Barbara.
Yes, ma'am.
And that lot that's behind it is the one that's it's actively burning. You could probably go out there tonight and see it work. And I have concerns about that
Right.
as well, the environmental concerns. So if this passes tonight, if you decide to move forward and look at the micro-hospital, that might be an area of consideration
Yes,
for you
yes, sir.
because of the TC.
Yeah, we are looking at that. We're also looking at a little bit further down, which will be in Pearland too, both the locations. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Mayor Pro Tem, did you have?
Anyone else? Okay. I would just like to say, I want to finish with the research that I did, hearing your team, listening to you, look from what I know, just the very little that I know. I think you would be a lovely partner with our community. I think that everything we have here does show interest, and you're courting us, right? You're courting us. You see us as a girlfriend. You want to court us to come into a relationship with it, and I do like part of that courtship. Where I'm struggling at is the location. I would love to have you guys here, maybe somewhere else that isn't so close. We're not fully built out yet. I just don't think that location, based on the land use, would be good for you. Have you purchased the land yet, by
Not
the
yet,
way?
ma'am, not yet, but we have spent a lot of money so far, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do see that you could be, I see the benefit. I think we do need maybe a separate one. Where I also struggle, though, is when we call it an emergency, and there's a lot of accidents on 288. I said this to the previous person, the previous ER that came here. It would be a different story if you truly could handle ambulatory patients, but you can't. It's more of, if I can't get to urgent care because my doctor's office is closed, then I would resort to you. And I've had to do that, so I have experience with that as well. So I'm just going to say that I would love to see you bring your facility maybe in a different location here in Manvel. I think that would be wonderful. Thank you.
I respect it.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Any other comments or questions from council? Hearing none, do I have a motion for this agenda item? Okay, I will make a motion to approve agenda item number 2 with the pre-stated conditions from city staff. Do I have a second for that agenda item?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Councilman Oplager. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion fails 0-7. Thank you for being here, sir. All right, moving on to agenda item number 3. This is consideration and possible action to approve the first of 2 readings of ordinance 2025-0-12. Dan, we'll turn this over to you, and if we can also make sure to address Ms. Mary Ann's comments about that as well.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. So just a refresher on impact fees. So the city currently assesses water and sewer impact fees. We have for several years now. In our update in 2016, we had a section in there called administrative items, and there were 9 different components that did not get included in the 2021 update. And they're truly administrative items in nature. One of them specifically, which has come up here recently with our extension of sanitary sewer on Lewis Lane, is the idea of waiving impact fees for the first year after a new city main is installed. So basically, if someone's been on a water well all these years and they wanted to connect, and the water was there for them to connect, or they wanted to get off of their septic system and they wanted to connect to the city service, they could do that within the first year at no additional impact fee. They'd still have to pay for their tap fees, of course, but they wouldn't have to pay the impact fee. If they decided after that first year, then they would only have to pay half the total impact fee. And then after that, they could still connect. They would just be at their own cost. So to answer Mary Ann's question, so it's a one-time impact fee. So like if they live on well and septic right now, the city of Manvel doesn't have a requirement that you have to connect. Some cities do that, and if there's a water main within X number of feet from your property, then you have to connect. I sort of famously threw that idea out years ago and almost got thrown out of the building because everybody on council was on well and septic at the time. So know your audience, right? So we're not proposing that we do that unless that's something council wants to do. But like in Mary Ann's instance, if water and sewer were close and they wanted to connect and we had just put that line in, they wouldn't have to pay the impact fee. If the line has been in for 5 years and they wanted to connect, they would have to pay impact fees. That's the way it's written. That's the way it was written in the 2016 update. Because the impact fee study is done by ordinance, then the only way that we could come up with basically to hard code this would be also by ordinance. So this is the first reading tonight. We literally captured those 9 components from the old impact fee study to hard code them in there. As you know, we have an item later on tonight where we're going to talk about updating the water and sewer impact fees. But that's going to take, 6 or 8 or 9 months to do. So this would basically get us into effect April 21st, I guess, if we get first reading tonight and the second reading at the next meeting. So we haven't changed, we haven't modified these at all. So if you would like to change or rule some of these out, or if you don't want to include these, we don't have to. But it was something that I think everybody's just kind of been trucking along as if that was still in there, and it's not, as we've noted. So does that help, Mayor?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Dan. Mary Ann, does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions from council? Councilman Lance?
If we, if an individual taps into our water line, the new water line, and they're currently on well water, do we require them to disconnect their well line?
Great question. So disconnect, no, they can still have their well, they can use it for irrigation. It just cannot be connected to the home itself because we wouldn't want to cross-contaminate.
Good question.
Great question.
Councilman Bonner?
Yeah, on number 9 about, I'm following that. Do we need to be a little bit more clear in how we word this about making sure they understand they're not paying an impact fee, but they are going to pay a tap fee? I'm just wondering about the wording on number 9, just to take another look at it, just to make sure that that's clear. Because that's my understanding, correct, that they're still going to pay a tap fee.
And it's possible if say like on Lewis Lane, if we go ahead and put the tap in for them, and then that's already included in the project, then they wouldn't even have the tap fee. They would have the meter fee because the meter hasn't been purchased until we actually have a customer.
I guess that's what I'm thinking of, the
so
difference.
So that's why we worded it that way. So they don't include those, they don't waive those, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you would have to pay those. I mean, it's possible that you might not have to pay a tap fee if whenever we did the water, no, that's not right. Trying to think, there was a project that we did and we went ahead and ran all of the long services, short and long, for all the sanitary, just in case, and not a single person wanted to connect to it, but we ran the line nonetheless. Was it Tankersley? No, it wasn't. But anyway, the taps are there, so there is no tap fee associated with it.
Because if you don't, doesn't it make it more expensive to come back later?
It absolutely, yeah.
You'd have to shut down a section of the line to do it.
Yeah, and so those, the only reason we charge those fees is because it literally costs the city something to do it. Whether we grab a contractor or the team goes out there and actually digs it up and has to find the line and make the tap.
Councilman Bonner, I think to your point, if there's an opportunity here between the first and second reading to be more clear about number 9,
yeah,
I think that would be helpful if we can put our heads together.
And then I'm trying to understand number 3. Additional meters for fire line or lawn irrigation for a house.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I get the irrigation. Somebody wanted, a separate meter just to do?
Absolutely. And personally, I recommend that because your irrigation, if you have a separate meter just for your irrigation, then you don't have to pay sewer on that, right? So a lot of our bill goes up because we're paying water and sewer based on your one meter.
Similar to when we made the change here this past year because of the
averaging?
Yeah, the averaging. Isn't there an option currently to where if you don't want to average, you could put in a separate meter?
Sure.
So it's kind of similar to the same thing here then. Okay. All righty.
Good questions, Councilman. I like this. I like that we're capturing this. I think I would much rather see us find a way to incentivize people to connect rather than create a barrier to entry, because we could collect utility fees for the next 20 years rather than a one-time impact fee. What I would also like to see is this not just apply to residents, but also commercial businesses who are on a private well and or septic. This is not new businesses coming in that have to connect to our system, but we do have a few existing Manvel businesses that are on their own well or septic. For me, I would hate to see us have a barrier to entry for them too, especially because we would rather see the reoccurring revenue rather than a one-time impact fee that might keep people out. Council, what do you think about that?
What's the difference in the fee?
It depends on what the meters, Councilman Oplager spoke to this, what's the difference in the fee, and I think it depends on the meter size ultimately.
It does. I mean, typically a commercial business, we're going to see at least a 2-inch meter typically, whereas a residential home could be a 3/4-inch meter or a 1-inch meter if it's a bigger home or if it's further from the street.
Because as I think about it, these are businesses that have been paying property taxes for years, that have maybe been on their own well, that have been on their own septic, that now have the chance to tap in. Would we rather collect, let's say, $4,000 for wastewater that could be paid off in and 6.5 years of them paying fees and then continue to collect the fees, or would we rather not have them collect altogether because they don't want to pay the $4,000 as a local small business? If we want to encourage and invest in our local small businesses, I think this is a great opportunity to incentivize that.
Do you want to change number 8 instead of if an existing home, if an existing property owner? Anywhere where we say home, that we could just, and then if the property owner connects within?
I don't think property owner would be right, because what if somebody decides to do that to put a new business in?
Well, Council, if you're open to at least considering this, what I would suggest is what we can do is brainstorm it over the next 2 weeks. We have 2 readings. We can have this come back forward at the next meeting. I wanted to bring this up just to see if there was an appetite to consider it. If not, why spend staff's time, our time, drafting something up?
I'm not opposed at all to I think you need to think about it a little bit. Existing businesses that, that have been here. I'm just worried about adding property owners, because you could have somebody that owns 100 acres that hadn't been maybe putting a business in because of this big, some business could be an 8-inch meter. That's a lot of money there. And now you're gonna lump that into it also.
Maybe you could do it based off of meter size. You do the cap at a certain meter size for that.
We need to see what we can come up with over the next 2 weeks for the second reading.
Yeah. Council, would you guys be in support of that?
Yes.
Okay. Seems like we have support there, so appreciate your consideration of that. Do we have any other comments or questions as it relates to agenda item number 3? So we have looking to improve the wording on number 9 and also possibly some adjustments to number 8 to include commercial businesses. Do I have a motion for this agenda item?
I'll make the motion with the proposed 2 items.
Okay. We have a motion from Councilman Bonner. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Councilman Hudson. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 7-0. Agenda item number 4, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2025-R-08. Council, I believe we're aware of what this one is. Does April 28th work for everyone on council? Any issues? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve this resolution. Councilman Lands, can I get a second from you?
Second.
We have a second from Councilman Lands. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 7-0. Moving on to agenda item number 5. We'll go staff first, and then we have Mr. Joe and Miss Nancy here. Mr. Joe dressed up for us tonight. He looks very, very fancy tonight. Thank you for that, sir. We have agenda item number 5. We have consideration and possible action to approve a subdivision ordinance variance request seeking to vary Chapter 62, Section 62-111 additional street requirements and 62-113 sidewalks for an approximate 1.03 acre tract of land located at 7398/7346 Taylor Street, Manvel, Texas, southwest corner of Taylor Street and Magnolia Street intersection. Tract of land generally bounded by Taylor Street for the north, Magnolia Street to the east, unimproved street right-of-ways of Russell Street to the west, and a vacant residential lot to the south for a wedding venue, and authorize the mayor to execute the development agreement. Hello. Thank you for patiently waiting until we got to this.
Good evening. You're welcome. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you said, I'm here to present a subdivision variance request for about 1 acre tract of land located at the southwest corner of Taylor Street and Magnolia Street intersection. The property was rezoned in 2021 from open single-family residential district to light commercial district to allow the use of an existing structure as a wedding venue known as Two Hearts Chapel. According to the property owner, the existing structure is one of the oldest buildings in Manvel. The site is bordered by Taylor Street to the north, Magnolia Street to the east, Russell Street, which is an unimproved right-of-way, to the west, and a vacant residential lot to the south. In October 2024, the owner met the staff to discuss development requirements, and the property needs to be platted before construction permits can be issued. For a plat review, staff informed the applicant about the street and sidewalk construction requirements under Chapter 62, and this chapter has 2 sections, 62-111 and 62-113, regarding construction of one half of all abutting streets, including concrete curb and gutter along with sidewalks, per the city's design criteria manual and major thoroughfare plan. Because of that, this is a request for subdivision variance to not construct the road and sidewalks. Under section 62-5, the city code 5 of the city codes of ordinance, staff evaluated the variance request and found that the property occupied half of a block from the original Manvel town map and is surrounded by roads that are asphalt with open ditches and no sidewalks. Russell Street is unimproved. The entire area, including the property and all abutting streets, is located within the floodplain, and also Taylor Street transitions to gravel road to the east, and Magnolia Street transitions to an unimproved right-of-way to the north. Enforcing the improvements would not deprive property rights, but would significantly increase project cost due to constructing right-of-way. Granting the variance will not negatively impact public safety or nearby properties. All surrounding properties already have access from existing asphalt roads, and with increased traffic flow, the existing asphalt roads may deteriorate over time and result in a need for maintenance. However, based on the intensity and scale of proposed use, significant change to traffic flow is not anticipated. With considering these, staff recommends approval of the variance requested with two conditions that outlined with the development agreement. One is the subdivision variance will expire if the use of the site changes from a rented reception or wedding venue, which is classified as NICS code 531120, and second condition is the variance will expire upon further subdivision or replatting of the property into multiple lots or reserves.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that presentation.
You're welcome.
Mr. Joe or Miss Nancy, is there anything that you guys would like to add? Anything that you guys would like to share?
No, I don't have anything to add.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, sir. Council, any comments or questions?
Lucky night.
There it is. There it is. All right. Hearing none, I will proudly make a motion to approve this subdivision variance request. We have a second from Councilman Lands on this agenda item. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 7-0. Congratulations on that. What is the timeline to get it opened here? Do you guys have a timeline set?
That question's for you. What was that?
Yes, ma'am. Do you guys have a timeline set for when you're looking to open to start holding weddings?
As soon as possible. It's only been how many years now?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I've actually had a few people that...
Time for the parking lot is essentially complete, so now we need to get bids and get it installed.
That's great. I've had a few people that actually reach out to me that ask about the church, ask if it's available for weddings, and I'm saying they're close. They're very close.
All
5 years ago, you would have had one there if you had it.
All right. Well, congratulations, guys, on that. We look forward to updates there. Council, with your consent, I'd like to combine agenda items number 6 and 7. Is everybody okay with that?
Sir.
All right, so I'll read these off real quick, and then staff will turn this over to you guys. Consideration of possible action to approve the proposal from Freese and Nichols for the development of a roadway impact fee program and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the terms of the agreement, as well as doing the same for the proposal from Freese and Nichols for the water and wastewater impact fee study update.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have had workshops on these, the water and sewer impact fees. We have to, if we're going to assess impact fees, water and sewer impact fees, we have to update our study at least every 5 years. And if you recall, the CIAC recommended that we go ahead and start on that a year early. So we did include it in the budget. So we have a proposal from Freese and Nichols to update the study that they did for us in 2021. And then the roadway impact fee program, that's the one we just had the workshop on. That would be a new impact fee that we have not had before. So we do have Richard and Ishita, and thank you all for staying. If y'all want to come up, if there are any questions, we can certainly go through.
I think we got a pretty good presentation of it during our workshop. So, council, do you guys have any questions for the team here? The only
Bailey, sorry.
comment that I might, thank you guys for being here and hanging out for us. You're hanging tough. Don't tell us the score if you're keeping up with it. We don't want to know yet. The only comment that I might have is I've heard from some people that are actually surprisingly, developers and builders that are very open to this and they understand the necessity for it. They actually brought forward a good idea about looking to create some of what we've done with things like the tree ordinance and our festival that we're talking about, a subcommittee working group to periodically kind of work on it together, bringing in maybe a developer, a builder, a CIAC member, a city staff liaison to work at different milestones along the way to offer feedback, input. That way, when we get to the point of actually looking at a draft and approving it, there's been additional work behind the scenes that's been put into that. I know Montgomery County did that recently, and it worked very well for them. I'd like to throw that out there as an idea. I'm sure you guys have seen that in the past as a way to collaborate on this rather than anybody feeling one way or another something's being forced on them.
Yeah, we actually did that in the first impact fee, not the last one, but the one before that. We had a kind of a workshop where developers could come and explain kind of what what their plans were. This was obviously when Manvel was much more of a blank slate than it is now, but we've done something like that before, and we welcome their input and got a lot of the projections, especially the ones that are already going. I think that a lot of that came straight from them because they had a lot of certainty on what their plans were. So
that's great. Well, council, if any of you would like to be involved with that, please reach out to Dan and Tammy, and maybe within the next few meetings we could get something on the agenda just to formalize that. I think that's the right approach to take there. All right. Council, do I have a motion for these two agenda items?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Bonner. Do I have a second? All right, we got a second from Councilman Perry. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 7-0. I believe, Mr. Hudson, did I see your hand up for that, in favor of that item?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to confirm there. All right, thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, last item we have on the regular agenda item number 8, consideration and possible action to concur with the mayor on an ad hoc selection committee for the naming of facilities. Dan, if you can introduce this, I think this is the first time us using this policy, so kind of talk us through what we're seeing here.
It sure is, Mayor. So as you know, we have several different capital improvement projects going on right now. Like I mentioned in the update, just to name a few, the police station, the public works facility, the water tower, elevated storage tank number 1, the water reclamation facility, the City Hall Park. And so what we actually put together last year was a facility naming policy. And, there are a couple of different ways that this can happen. But when we say naming, we don't necessarily mean it has to be, named Joe's Park or whatever, although that's a good name. Sorry, Joe's. It could be City Hall Park. It could be Water Tower number 1. It doesn't necessarily have to have a person's name assigned with it, but it could. And so, anyway, the facility naming committee would kind of run the traps on that. And so if they receive recommendation from the citizenry, then they could use that, or left to their own demise, then they can come up with their own names together. So the way that we wrote the policy was the first thing that we need is to come up with this committee, and the way that goes is that the mayor and I just threw this out idea to the mayor, like, what if we had someone from staff, someone from PD&Z, someone from MEDC, someone from City Council, and then someone that's not involved in any of those, but is a local resident or a local business owner, or just someone that's, in the community. So that idea took, and so the mayor immediately gave me back some names on that. So we have the proposed ad hoc committee of Alyssa Deaton on staff, Mary Ann Atkinson from PD&Z, Derek Dalmelin from MEDC, Harry from City Council, and Carrie Perrin, our chamber representative, as sort of our at-large position. So that would give us 5. Hopefully they won't be, at a, what do you call it, when you can't make a decision, since there's an odd number. If we need to do 7, we could do that too. But I thought 5 would really give us a good starting point, a good, we've got people from all different walks there. Obviously, Harry's got probably the most experience, and Marianne right behind him as far as Manvel goes. So y'all are going to know some of those names that, hey, we've never done anything to recognize this person or this thing. So that's kind of where we're at tonight, Mayor. So we're not asking for, we don't have any names for any of these facilities. The names that we need now are for the committee itself.
That's a great overview, Dan. What I'll add is this is a committee that is specifically to work on these items. If there's items that come up in the future, we would look to spread the love around. That's something I try to do as mayor, is involve different people within different things. That way we can all do that, understanding we have, quorum requirements, so not everyone can do everything. So council, if you guys are good with this, we can make a motion. If you'd like to see any of these names changed or added to it, we can certainly do that. You guys good with it? What are your thoughts?
I like the names. I was just wondering, so you said you proposed all of these names? These came from you?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
the way that it reads is, the mayor proposes it, and then council can review and concur or change.
I love that Kerry's on here because he represents the city and like our business owners. Maybe also find somebody that owns a business in Manvel, since it says a local business owner. I think that's a fair addition, maybe. Or if we did that, then would we have to go to 7 so that there's a breaking?
You'd have to go to 7, and my thinking with naming Carrie was, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings of why is this business owner.
Yeah, I could see that.
One, so kind of a little bit more.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think Kerry lives in our city. Doesn't he live in Rodeo Palms?
Carrie Perrin? No, ma'am. He lives over in Alvin.
Oh, I thought he lived here.
I think he lives. Maybe he moved.
She didn't watch your deal about how to pronounce rodeo.
Manvel?
Wow.
Rodeo?
Rodeo. We celebrated your
Rodeo?
21 years tonight, too. We're going to dock a year, so you're at 20 now.
That was my only question. I can see the concern with it going to 7.
Yeah.
Clearly, because then we'd have to find 2 others, but that should be easy to
And
do.
that's where we're kind of thinking of it with a representative, and this was, with Dan thinking a representative from PD&Z, MEDC. It doesn't have to be, so we don't have like the categories that you have to fill. It's just whoever, and trying to get different perspectives there.
Thanks for that clarification.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
it's
like
great.
it.
I like it. All right, council, I'll make
It's going to be fun.
He's gonna call it the bird tower. All right, I will make a motion to approve this ad hoc selection committee. A second from Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. We are now on to mayor and council comments. Just one. State of the county is happening this. Is it Wednesday? Wednesday at lunchtime. So for those of you that are signed up, would love to see you there.
Sport College.
Yes, Brazosport College. It's a far drive, so buckle up there. That's all that I have just for upcoming events. Any other, Councilman Lands?
I'd just like to say personally that I'm glad to hear that our police department is getting the training that it needs. I've heard elsewhere that maybe they think just some people out there think maybe our police department needs training, but I know we're getting the training that we need, and I appreciate that, for the chief staying on top of that, and for letting us know the training that's being given, and continue forward. Thank you.
So thank you, Councilman. I believe there's a few forums that are happening for candidates. There's the Chamber Forum that's going to be happening this Thursday. Is that correct, Councilman? This Thursday, and then there's the Police Association Forum. There's one happening on the 21st up in Pearland off of Cullen, off of Silver Lake Church. So there's a few that are happening. Check out all the candidates' pages. I know that they share about them, and you can attend the ones that are open, except for the Police Association. That one is closed, but recorded and posted after the fact. I believe they're going to live stream it this year. So any other, Mayor Pro Tem?
I'd just like to notice those who are running for office, they see how late and how much effort this takes in. And I just want to give credit to, they're not even running for city council, and they're still here.
Yep.
Shows a lot when you got other people running to sit here and they're not here. Just saying. But we do have another one in the back, and I see that. So I just want to give credit where credit's due. That's all.
All right. Council, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All right, we have a second from Councilman Bonner. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Go Cougs.